welcome to where the furniture isn't always the best, but them views, they are amazing.
It's a 13 for y'all. 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 It's a 13 for y'all.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 202 of the 13th Floor Podcast, where the furniture isn't always the best, but the views are amazing. It's your moderator, B. Jones, here, hanging out with my guys. And up first, we got Barry B. Fresh. What's happening, baby?
You know, another beautiful day as the moon are down here in South Florida trying to dodge, this rainy weather, ending up this hurricane season. But we out here, we motivated, freshavated, doing what we do, baby.
Got the yin and the yang going on today. My dog.
Life is about balance.
Funny. I was watching the Golden Child on Netflix the other day.
Ooh,
And
great.
when he's in the store and he's talking about the little whatever, and then keep the yang up. Yeah, keep your yang up, ladies and gentlemen. Keep your yang up.
Yes, yes.
DJ, what's going on, baby?
All good, baby. All good.
Easy. Faison, I'm coming to you next, man. What's happening?
Let's talk about that. So I'm happy I'm here. I just came back from traveling to North Kakalaki. Had a great time out there, wonderful time. But ran into some pain in my foot. I'll go into it later on. But yeah, homeboy right now is rolling a tennis ball over his arch because he is in massive pain.
Got that plantar fasciitis going on?
Maybe.
Pretty painful thing, man. You got to get that ice cup going. Back in my training room days. Coach K, what's going on, brother?
Man, what's going on? I'm happy to be here with the fellas, and man, I'm just over here doing my Black Dilbert. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, you can jump on YouTube and you'll see what I mean when I say I'm doing
yo
my
gabba
Black Dilbert.
gabba.
I don't even know who that is. Yo Gabba Gabba.
Oh,
I don't
they
anything
know.
about that.
Oh, they know who Yo Gabba Gabba is. I know who that is. Yeah.
Bingo, yep.
Oh, they know.
DJ Lance, baby.
Exactly.
Oh, man, yeah.
I'm so glad I could provide y'all with some laughter, some humor.
I did not even, you got that vision in my head now.
That is the return of the tadpole.
Yo,
Let's keep this thing moving.
Brett, before we get started, if we move forward, I want to ask if you are listening to this right now on any podcast system, audio version, log on to YouTube right now, find the 13th Floor page, subscribe to that page. You have to see us in action to get every single thing. It's an experience you are missing out on by just hearing us. You got to see us.
Listen, man, you're missing out on the experience.
Joker's still laughing.
Just from Art's background.
That's
all right?
because,
That
like
is an
he said, he
experience
can't unsee it.
all within itself. All within itself. Check us out, subscribe, get the YouTube. Let's get those subscribers up.
That made the night right there.
You can name this episode Yo Gabba Gabba, Art.
There you go. Done. Consider it done.
I'm about to search it right now.
Look up DJ Lance, Yo Gabba Gabba.
How was the weekend, fellas, man? What's going on? Anybody got anything exciting?
What did I do on this?
Yeah, you was international, baby.
Exactly. My bad. Yeah, we just had the opportunity to shut down the Epic Gala. Shout out to my guy AJ. He runs the Epic Foundation. They do a lot of amazing things helping kids through school, with better ways of learning, but then also helping them get into college or any other types of higher education. So big shout outs to AJ, but he had the Epic Gala down in Bimini, Bahamas. It was my first time to Bimini. It's pretty much a one road city, but it was beautiful. Definitely gave me the opportunity to get some R&R in, but then also as well, we had the opportunity to shut down the gala. Me and Sage, my DJ counterpart, Main Brain Music, we went and we definitely left our mark on the island, hoping it's going to lead to some more opportunities. But even if not, we definitely have secured the Epic Gala DJ position for sure.
What was this at?
This was in Bimini in Bahamas.
Oh,
Bahamas.
okay. Okay.
Bahamas.
You bring anything nice back?
Nah, there was nothing to bring back but the memories of an amazing time. And I definitely got the mix that's gonna drop probably this weekend. So by the time you guys hear this, y'all can jump on over to SoundCloud, Dip Flip, and get you some good. We got a big island influence on that thing, but it just rides out. You know how we do. Take y'all coast to coast.
There it is, man. Make sure you get on DJ Barry Be Fresh, the SoundCloud, man. The mixes are amazing. I mean, we highlighted several of them last episode or the episode before that. Can't remember. I think it was 200. But yeah,
Yeah, BJ
definitely check
actually
my
made
guy
me
out.
go and look, and I mean, there's well over 200 hours worth of mixes because there's over 100 mixes posted. So now Carol has been introduced to Yo Gabba Gabba,
All
Hey
right.
man, I'm actually gonna be
and
in the house
now you can
rocking the
see
Yo
the
Gabba
the
Gabba next
steam
week.
from your
Watch her
head is
pay.
almost making Lance's hat.
Yo, but when he used to bring out Biz Marquino, it used to be rocking the mic a
Yo, I
lot.
thought Yo Gabba Gabba was super fresh, but
I used to watch it with the kids. I used to sit there and watch it with them.
it's an
So I'm
awesome,
good there.
awesome cart. Well, it's like the hip hop Sesame Street.
Yeah. Yep.
Never even heard of this thing before in my life.
How did you never heard of Yo Gabba Gabba?
I
Wow.
don't know how you never
Ashley
heard
too,
of it,
man.
but
Ash, yeah.
Ashley don't do
yeah.
Gabba Gabba. Like
Yeah. Ash will do a lot of things. Ash is the old soul.
Right.
You know what? You probably right. You probably right. I should be looking at it. What is this?
That
You go into that picture, that one picture.
That was
right.
Oh, we gotta recycle that one. We gotta use that one in the ad on the webpage to bring that back, yo.
Yeah.
Terrible. Oh man, so my weekend was really, really good, man. We got some amazing weather going on right now in Maryland. I had to enjoy it. Got out and got to do some salam bomb with my guy Adu. Shout out Adu. It's like
What's
this
that?
martial arts.
Okay.
It's like the foundation for martial arts, as he explained it to us, the historical aspects of it. So, we get out there, do some stretches, do some like yoga type stuff, and then get into some different forms. Almost reminds you of Taekwondo. Me and Chris have done it a couple of times, but I try to do that on Saturday mornings to get it started, and then took Nia to play basketball afterwards, which is a funny story. We'll get into this in a second. Because she's been asking to play ball probably since like the summertime. So we got her shoes, got her a ball, finally got out there to like just do some drills. We would go play, shoot around or whatever, but she wants to be serious. We're gonna go ahead and, try to see how serious she wants to be. Mind you, Nia is like the epitome, like true definition of a Gemini. So if she wakes up on the wrong side of the bed in the morning, that's it. It's just gonna be one of them days. It's a wrap. And I wasn't here when she woke up, but I got here from Salam Bomb to take us out to the basketball court. Yeah, Sonny in the car. He's playing on the park with Chris. And for whatever reason, I don't know who pissed in her cornflakes that morning.
She was not
But
with
she was pissed. Like she just was not with it. And so the first 30 minutes of like trying to, dribbling and warm up stuff, it's like pulling teeth, man. And it's crazy because we go through that. She has a couple moments. She hits herself in the face with the ball, starts crying and everything else. And it's all out of, you just not here. You're not present. You know what I'm saying? So you killing yourself right now. So we have a conversation. I'm like, look, you've been asking to do this since summertime. We out here and now you're giving me all this bad energy. So either you want to do it or you don't. We ain't gotta waste time. I didn't ask you. I'm not one of those dads that's like, oh, my baby's going to the WNBA. Not at all. If you want to do it, we can do it. If not, let's go ahead and enjoy the rest of the day, however we gonna do it. She's like, I don't want to do it. I'm like, well, we out here. God damn it, we gonna finish this session. And then afterwards, if you don't feel like it no more.
But after this,
I know I said we could leave. However, what I meant is
But after we had that conversation, man, we go through some more passing drills, shooting and stuff. It's like, I don't know, something halfway clicks. And the natural talent that I figured she would have just kind of starts to show itself. Now, mind you, this is the first time she didn't really picked up a basketball and, moved around with it for real. But, she got a lot of promise, natural talent. Her, grandfather played, her uncle and, aunties all played ball. She's tall. She's very athletic. So she could be good if she actually wanted to. So, working through that situation, I mean, it was very eye opening because I ain't never really had to deal with anything like that. Because Kellen, he just wants to play. Anything. He just gets up and go, and that's it. But Nia having to kind of coach her through that situation, and then still offer her the, I guess, the latitude to make her own decision at the end of the day. I think was what was most important, and being able to walk away at the end of the day, everybody's still, in a good mood and everything. And, we had, enjoyed the rest of the day, and she still got to, see that she had, a lot of promise, tried to instill that confidence. Now, whether we continue on with it or not, it's still to be known. She also is interested in getting into gymnastics and going back to Taekwondo. So we'll see where it lands. But yeah, that was pretty much the weekend for me.
I think one of the biggest things you did was not match her energy, not allow her frustration to take you to being frustrated as well. And even though it was like, hey, we're still going to finish this session, it still wasn't about doing it in an angry, oh, you need to do what you say you're going to start da 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 to put that same energy there. Your ability to go ahead and diffuse her energy and give her that moment to reflect not only is going to help, right then in you guys doing that basketball practice, but that's something she'll be able to take into heart later on.
I admire that skill because Arinze literally just told us that he's done swimming. Like it was 3 weeks, we were like, okay, let's go swimming. I don't want to go today. No, I don't want to go. So I'm like, all right, you know what? That's cool. This week you can take a break. And the following week, he's like, I don't want to go swimming again. I'm like, dude, I'm paying for classes now. Like this is no longer is it about just like you saying no, like you're going to go to the swim class. Then he gets there and he starts to cry and worry, da, da, da. So then the last thing we do is right after all that's done, I like the last week we go in and he goes, I don't put my head underwater. Like my fear is head underwater. I'm like, dude, you were the one that jumped in the water first before Nabi did. You were that guy. Why now? So I'm getting more and more frustrated. I'm like not understanding what's going on. And then I talked to somebody. They were like, listen, kids are going to adjust. There are going to be time where they're just going to want to be in it and they want to be out of it. And you got to be able to pull back and say, you know what, that's fine. Don't do it for now. Because if you force them to do that, they will hate it later on and they'll never do it again. And swimming is something that I cannot have him not know how to do. So it took everything in my soul, the depths to just be like, all right, fine, you can now sit on the side. We'll unenroll you in this process for you. But I'm just like, dude, like you're killing me on this role. So now I gotta find something to do on Saturday morning because he can't sit there by himself.
You're right in the mindset, but that's at some point in time, I'm a firm believer, every kid needs to figure out the basics of swimming. Yeah. Like, because you never know what situation you're gonna be in, who they're gonna be around, and what's gonna happen. I'm a prime example. To this day, like I can keep myself afloat if I needed to, but I had a conversation. What's your biggest fear? Being in a large body of water. I don't know where that came out from.
By the way, what?
It was the Yo Gabba Gabba, man.
Right. Sounded like art.
Being a large body of water, and I'm done. I'm gone. That's my biggest fear.
Yeah.
I was gonna say they come around because Bryson, Amani's son, we took him to the super fear class where they just toss him in and let him pretty much die in front of your eyes. You watch them emerge, everyone had. But he went to that. He was straight. He did that. But then after that, he was like, nah, I ain't dealing with water. And so he was back on the side of the pool team where it's like, y'all splash people, all that. All right, get it. Oh, whoa. You're being too aggressive now. But then recently we went up and visited my brother and my sister-in-law. She actually, I don't know what kind of voodoo she put on him, but we had talked up, he doesn't get in the pool, da-da-da, da-da-da. When he gets there, goes out back, takes off his shirt. We're sitting inside talking. We turn around. He's in the middle of the pool with her, swimming around and doing stuff. We're just like,
Oh
what is going
man.
on? You making us look crazy. Literally telling us, oh, maybe Miss Carrie can be my swim coach. Da da da. So I mean, they'll come around. It just takes that moment, like they said. One second they hard headed on something, the next second they all in it.
What's the time frame between when he was fearful and dropped in to now?
Months.
Okay,
Months.
yeah. So yeah, there it
That
is.
was
So
months.
she need
Yeah.
he needs to build his own confidence up. Maybe I do that. Okay.
So I was gonna say that class was like middle well, it was like March, April, May, somewhere around there, I want to say.
Okay.
And actually it may have been at the beginning of the summer. Either way, it hasn't been a long time. Either way.
Got it. Okay. Cool.
Swimming is one of those things, man. Like it has to be kind of taught the right way because you automatically jump out there and most people got the fear of like the deep end and everything. I mean, I remember my grandfather teaching me how to swim, and everything starts out fine. We had a pool. He had a pool in his backyard when we was younger. So, and this is in Florida. Everything starts out fine. I'm on the wall. I'm kicking, learning how to do my arms or whatever. And then one day he decides, okay, you know how to swim. Jump out there into the deep end and swim back to the wall. I'm like, oh no, I'm not ready for that. He's like, okay. Throws me in the middle of the
Yep.
damn pool, like in the middle of the pool. And it's like sink or swim. And so I'm crying the whole time, swimming back to the freaking wall and get out. And I'm like, okay, boo-hoo crying. He's like, good, good, good. I don't even have like 30 seconds to catch my breath, nothing.
Yep. That's how they do it. That's how they do it.
Right back in the water, man. It was crazy. That's one of the like the toughest but fondest memories I have of my grandfather. But now, I can swim in the ocean and be good. Like it's really nothing.
Oh, see, there you go. So his hard work paid off for you.
I'm about to say I never had the trauma, but luckily I can swim. Yeah, I never got that trauma, but it definitely was interesting watching the lessons go down with Bryson because I mean literally this lady was just and I mean will adamantly tell you leave them alone, don't you stop it, don't touch them, let him fight, and you're just like yeah he's gonna but I'm gonna have to kill you too.
So Art, being the one that's probably closest to your kids,
yes,
on this podcast, I will, ladies and gentlemen, when you all are hearing this, no, actually that's not true. You'll hear this on Monday. Please check on me to make sure I'm okay because I will have Art's kids over the weekend.
Yes.
But I know what happened to Arinze. Knowing Arinze, about 3 weeks ago, what happened was Arinze was in the pool and his head was underwater. And Arinze decided, they said, I can't breathe underwater. I'm going to try it.
Oh. Yeah.
And he took a breath and it was water and he got out and he was choking and choking and choking. And at that moment, he decided, I am not coming back and I'm not getting under the water.
Yeah, that's probably what happened. That's
exactly what happened.
That's Arinze. It's hard-headed Arinze thinking he can do things on his own.
And if you think about it, so Arinze, my nephew, he's the one that whenever he gets emotional or whatever, he starts to choke just randomly, just coughing.
Coughing, yep.
Just coughing, just randomly. And he will cough to the point where he will throw up. So just imagine if he took that little breath and then he panicked. So he's just choking uncontrollably.
That's
and
not happening.
It's so So you got to take him back. You just got to tell him, son, you cannot take a breath under the water.
That might be your point. Yeah. I think that's a good point.
Yeah. You are not Paw Patrol. You are not
PJ
Aquaman. Mask.
Right.
You're not an Avenger. You're none of that. You cannot breathe under the water.
And
he'll probably, okay.
Right.
Back here. I'll test it out for you this weekend. Don't worry. I'll put him in the
bathtub. You getting in there with him, Carl?
In the bathtub?
Oh, I thought we were talking about the pool.
Look, no.
It's the AirPod. You know what I'm saying? The volume going up and down. I switched at that point from the iPad to the AirPod. Don't worry about it.
Just
moving right along.
A quick Easter egg right now.
I can swim though.
let me throw this Easter egg. So,
But I want to say real quick though, before how did you learn how to swim though?
At my uncle's house, just
somebody threw you in, or
throw in the pool.
Most Caribbean parents that I meet there, like that's how most Caribbean kids I met. That's how they learn.
Yep.
And it wasn't
like self-taught.
It wasn't
the
pool.
ocean.
It was the ocean, or it was some lake.
Yeah, like a hole, a swimming hole.
No, mine was actually a pool, but I did go to one swim lesson, and that one swim lesson day I was swimming.
Yeah. Oh. Like I'm not the best swimmer as well either, but I went to lessons and I can swim. But like this is not like I'm like Michael Phelps now. I can go around a pool and have some fun, but you might get wet in my splashing.
Fight that walk
right
now I'll tell you guys, I mean, it's been so long, and then 9 years ago when Wendy and I got married and we went to Trinidad for our honeymoon, we went out on this glass bottom boat, and it was out, in the ocean. BJ's already laughing.
No, I'm thinking about Mexico. I was about to dive in Mexico. Just pop in my head. I don't know why. I'm sorry. Back up. Erase that. Let's go.
Now,
Trinidad.
You think about me, or you think about
you? Because you were going to dive, and all of a sudden the dive just like I ain't diving no more.
Yeah, just in mid dive. Yeah, I just ended my. I thought you were about to talk about Jason, who said he was drowning.
Oh no.
And I just reached out one hand, one hand and grabbed him and was just like, bruh, like, hold on to this rope right here. You right next to this rope. Hold on to it. You're gonna be fine. Fix your life vest. Anyway, the Trinidad story, that window is closed, but
I am in play off. That jumped in my head that quick.
That same thing happened with us. I think Ian, you were there in Jamaica when we did that boat thing. And we got the boat, and the swim to the cave felt like the longest swim in my life. And we had everything we needed. It was like, oh my God, it won't stop. But the Easter egg I want to throw in, I'm gonna do before EJ comes back, to see if she's listening to this podcast this week. It's her birthday on Wednesday. If she comes to me at any point in time and tells me she listens to this podcast and she says the 3 words I'm going to say now, I will throw her a nice bag of cash. I want you to hear it. So I need her to say to me, mango, pineapple, apple. Go ahead, Brett. All back to you.
I'm just making a note. So when we get to 203, I remember to ask about the mango, pineapple, apple, and to see if EJ got that bag of cash. Because if she don't get it, I'm always taking donations. Sonny got, he's a growing boy. He's eating everything in the house.
See if EJ got that bag of cash. The Nigerian pose, man.
That's when you messed up. You should have done that, because there's somebody in her circle is going to listen.
We're going to do that.
Yeah.
And
let her know. Let's see.
Like, yep.
Let's see if this drops. If she gets to it, we'll see. But yeah, her birthday this week. So we're going to go down to Savannah this weekend. I had no idea that was a 4-hour drive from Atlanta.
Atlanta?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is the idiotic thinking of a northerner who thinks everything is closer. And south, the Northeast, everything is within a couple hours. The DC ride is 3.5 hours. But going through one state from this middle corner, Georgia's long. It's wide.
It's all the way. You're going all the way out to the coast when you go to what you call it.
So I want to thank Uncle K and Auntie Wendy for watching the boys. They should be good to go, but it's going to be a fun time with the 3 amigos in that casa.
Listen, man, I had to go buy some paint, so I got those little paint sticks. I'm ready.
No markers allowed. Lessons learned. No markers.
You got anything special for y'all playing once you get down there, or is it like surprise? We don't want to let the cat out the bag.
No, nothing.
Mango, pineapple, apple.
Exactly.
The
tree out here sharing the safe words.
Right. The trip is our time. Listen, the chance to get away from everything and to unplug for her is her creation. She wanted that for her birthday. She wanted something relaxing and chill. I was going to do a big party for her, and she was clear, like, I do not want that this year. So I said, cool, no problem. We'll just take some quiet time. So that's it.
Good. Nice recharge.
Yeah, I will say. I mean, we're on I'm up here. I got a nice hotel out there, so we'll enjoy ourselves. And unfortunately, it's 8 hours of time wasted going back and forth, but it is what it is.
We've all been there.
And it
Gotcha.
just
So,
got quiet.
Right.
man, I'm telling you, it's this AirPod, man. Like the sound is like going in and out. I'm not hearing and Art on this production thing. Art, can you give me like the full view of the guys real quick, man, so I know when I can jump in?
You can jump in whenever you want, baby. Go ahead, no problem.
No, but you know the visual, so I can see who's not talking, so I can know that I
Yeah.
can actually.
Well, all you gotta do on your end is change your view.
Okay, there we go. That is. So switching directions a little bit, man.
That's a hard direction change. That's a hard direction
Oh,
change.
I love this. This is gonna be hard. Yeah. No hit. Love until
You
I don't know what that means, but all right.
you might
the
want
switch. Go on.
The who?
Go on.
Stop interrupting me there. You making me lose.
Come on, Cletus.
Oh man, I lost it. It's gone. It's gone.
I think you were teamed up to talk about us going through life and seeing some of the the male influences and how we have how we support our females through our life and what's happening recently in Florida. They were leaning that way.
Yeah. So, Fresh, you probably gonna have to just chop and screw
Don't chop any of
the
that. Just
middle
leave
of
it just the way it is.
This is live and direct, baby. We keep
Yeah.
it.
Give the people what they want.
Exactly.
Yep.
One
People
take
what they
hold.
want.
Everything ain't
I
always
don't know.
perfect. The people got to know that, but we still push through, baby.
There it is. There it is. Moving right along. Moving right along. So yeah, as Art was talking about, I did want to switch directions. Given this Maya Marcano situation, very tragic situation, happened in Florida, and without going into too much specifics of the case, just the interaction or the male-female interaction, and the aggressive nature in which some of us tend to treat our female counterparts. I think it's a very, very important conversation that we as men can have on the 13th floor to shed light on some ideals. I'm pretty sure all of us have come in contact, or maybe not, but come in contact with a situation like that before, with someone we may know, and kind of how we've dealt with it, because it's really tragic, just looking at some of the details and how young she was, and understanding at a high level what actually went on with this situation. And I just want to have a conversation around that, because it's really like, if you see something, you gotta say something. And for this to have happened in this situation, I don't know, all the details about the guy who was actually, I guess, who killed her. But his interactions and the people that are around him, who kind of enabled this situation, had he always been known to have these tendencies, and why wasn't anybody ever able to kind of step in and help? I've seen situations like this, and not to this degree or extent, where somebody has actually died from it, but I've seen situations like this in high school, dealt with a situation like this in college. And at some point, the chivalry and just manhood has to, take precedent, I believe. We have to hold each other accountable in these situations, and, wrong is wrong. No man should ever be raised in such a way to, act in, these manners towards a female. So, I'll open it up, to you guys, and, we can get into this discussion, but I really think it's important that we shed some light on this and give our views on the situation.
Yeah, man, I guess the first thing first is prayers of strength and comfort to the family, and just the larger community as a whole. Because when you look at the impact of this one situation here in Florida had, she was from here in South Florida. parents and family were known well out throughout many different avenues and different communities through various ways. It hit hard in South Florida. There was a lot of people hurt, a lot of people like asked a question, a lot of people connected to this. So again, shout out to the family as a whole. Prayers up, because you can't comfort a loss of a child, right? No matter what anybody says, you can't cover that. No parent should have to bury their child. And with that, it really is just thinking about, I think you said in bed, like, how do we hold each other accountable? And what do we do in the things that we've seen and experienced in the past before? In this situation, like I equate it to like starting the school year back up and going into my daughter, 13 years old this year, going back to 8th grade, middle school. And my conversation the night before she left for school, I had a totally different conversation with her than I did with my boys. But the gist was the same. Like, it was about accountability. Their accountability was a different thing. I'll get to that one later. But for her, it was, I know you. I know where your mind's at. I know how you think. But boys your age are dumb. I don't know how else to say it right now. Like, their pride gets hurt. They try to show out for their friends. You're going to be called names. Unfortunately, you're going to be called names. And I hate that I have to tell her that, like, you're going to. But it's fact. And the funny part about it was one of her best friends, the exact situation I described about somebody may try to come to you, say something that they like you, they do this, whatever. And whether you're attracted to them or not, if you turn them down or whatever, they're going to call you names. They're going to call you a bitch. They're going to say stuff about you. They're going to say all these different things. The exact same thing happened to a friend of hers the next day at school. And we just happened to be on the phone with the mother, and heard about it. Like, these are the same situation, it was the same situation. The boy approached the girl. He liked the little girl. I mean, no doubt he probably did. But when she turned him down, and she wasn't disrespectful based on what everybody was saying, his pride was hurt because his boys was there. And his response was you ain't that fine anyway. You ain't that cute anyway. You a bitch. And that's what it was. And it kept playing over and over again. How many times that situation played out over the years since I was in school? Like, we got to check ourselves, man. Like, if you brought up to step out there and do it, rejection is a possibility, and then move on with life.
That still happens now as adults. I mean, how many movies have we seen where they say that, oh, well, you're defined anyway, or you were so-so, but yet, and all the friends are like, yeah, in the background, and just kind of egging it on. And we got to change that. We got to change the ability. Sometimes the no's a no and move on. Like, you're all good with that.
It's that ability to deal with rejection, though. It's the ability to understand that it's okay. It's just because you get no, sometimes that's yes to something even greater. And so being able to be okay with being told no for things, but that also goes, with parenting, being able to tell your children no, so they understand and know that, not getting something does not mean that the world is over. It does not mean that all of a sudden, everybody is looking and pointing at them like, oh, ooh, that it is, a natural thing that goes on in life.
So we're talking about it from a child standpoint, but I think what we're talking about right now starts in childhood, goes unchecked, and you become an adult male, displaying these tendencies. And if it was just name calling, look, I could deal with that. But when you decide that you are now going to physically assault a woman, or you're going to do something to a woman against her will, or you're going to kidnap a woman, or you're going to kill a woman because she rejected you, there is a totally different something going on in your mind. And at that point, you do want to reflect back and be like, where were the red flags? Who knew? Who saw? Who could have hit this person in the mouth a long time ago and made them realize that this was unacceptable.
Period.
Those are the things that come to mind for me, because to me, you just don't have that quick moment of lapse and you act. No, you've probably done things in the past, maybe not to this degree, but you've done things that went unchecked. Nobody said anything, and you just
Yep.
kept pushing further and
The
further.
comfort kept on building.
Yep.
So, you know, it's look, we're talking about one person, but as of right now, you know, just talking about our people. Look, there's I think 230,000 missing Black people in the United States of America right now.
Took the number right out of my head. I was about to say that's what we're dealing with, and who knows what the root cause of those situations. And we don't know the root cause of all of them, right?
We don't know the root cause, but on a national level, there are Black children, Black women, Black girls that are going missing all the time, and it's not something that you see every day in the media. And you got to ask why, and why are there so many people that are allowed to do things, and it goes unchecked. Now, I do think that the current climate and the current atmosphere and the relationship between Black male and Black female has so many complexities to it that in some cases it's like, you know, you might be out with your girl, or you might just be in a group and you see something and you try to check it and you get cussed out for it. Like, hey, I'm a grown woman, or I'm whatever, I can handle myself, you know, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, look, that's cool, but this fool gets beat down one time, I guarantee you he ain't gonna do it again.
That's true.
Right?
True.
Yeah,
You
that's
never
true.
know what state, what mental state that person is in, what they're gonna do, or what they're gonna retaliate with. So again,
You don't. And that when I alluded to my situation in high school, that's exactly what it was. I ended up getting jumped behind, you know, trying to quote unquote protect this, you know, young lady, just because it was the right thing to do. So you don't really know what to expect. And this is in high school. So, you know, you can only imagine what a broken grown man can get into, you know, and how your life is at stake at that point. So it's really, you know, it's a lot of risks involved, but I think that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with broken men. And unfortunately, you know, the way society is kind of set up, you know, with what is promoted, you know, in pop culture and music and things of that nature, the things that I see that our younger men kind of gravitate to, you know, it takes men like us, you know, to be fathers, uncles, father figures, big brothers, whatever, to kind of alleviate all of that. This is an embarrassing story for me, but my son just got into a situation very similar to this. I think I was talking to it was a couple of weeks ago. I told you I got, you know, held up by Kellen and my brother. Well, you know, he actually got in trouble at school for aggressive behavior towards a young lady. And this is a situation where, you know, I'm not physically present. So there's only so much that I can do. But hopefully, you know, he felt me enough through the phone to understand how unacceptable that type of behavior is. And I told, and me and his mother had a conversation about it, and things have been fine ever since. But, you know, this is my 8-year-old son already trying to exhibit, you know, these types of behaviors. And unbeknownst to him, it's just not being able to process his emotions or not being able to do what he wants to do. Not anything, you know, bigger than that, but there's a way to, you know, learn to express that, or there's a way to deal with your anger or frustration with any situation. But it should never lead to that, to you putting your hands or acting in any type of aggressive way, you know, towards a female. And I think when you don't have a lot of that influence, and then you got, you know, young men being raised by other immature young men, and the culture that it breeds, unfortunately you get that, you know, within, you know, society. So I think it's, you know, it's really upon us, as the leaders amongst our society, as the men amongst our society, to really step up and, be as influential as we can with younger generations, so that we can kind of try to curtail these types of situations. Carol, you talk about or bring up the, missing or young girls. I remember, I think it was probably like 3-4 years ago, where it was a big thing in the news where young kids, young girls were just getting kidnapped off the street, even here in Maryland. And it was to the point where, we couldn't let Nia walk anywhere by herself. You can't even let your kids play. You don't even feel comfortable letting your kids play outside anymore. And that's not how I was raised. I definitely don't want to have mine, raise mine that way, but that's just how serious, these situations are. So, it's a lot to, kind of take in, but I think the biggest way is to just be as impactful with the younger generations or with men in general, and, mitigate that risk.
I don't think you, and let me jump in real quick, Kay. You said earlier, you were embarrassed to say this or to fix this. And I think that's the point we think of as embarrassment. You shouldn't, because that conversation you had is going to travel through his adulthood. He now knows that was not okay, and he's going to share that with one of his friends, and it's going to change that. But if you had said, boys will be boys, moved on situation, don't do it again.
Oh, absolutely not.
And that's it. Now you've led on to it. So the embarrassment moment could have been in 20 years from now where you said, man, I should have said something back then. Now it's not embarrassment. Now you are being a father and you're doing the right thing to make sure you raise a right, good man.
Yeah. When you talk about like actions that we can take, there's so much though. I mean, when you think about media and TV and film and music, like a lot of the culture exists there that helps promote this aggression or this lack of respect. How do we start cleaning that up? Because it's one thing to say, hey, you know what? All right, some of these males don't have good role models, or the role models that they think are good are displaying the bad behaviors that they're just replicating or duplicating. How do we, one, be role models, but then two, also create a culture and environment that's not reinforcing these bad behaviors?
That's an interesting question. And it reminds me of a conversation that I had like years ago when I was living in Miami. And I say that because it's like, I don't think you can't get rid of it. You got to think back, like, what do you call it? I think black exploitation films and things of that nature. Like, it's as old as time. I'm watching, shows like, what is it, Godfather of Harlem, and it's always going to be there, right? So there's always gonna be another Future. There's always gonna be another Trippie Redd or 42 Doug or whoever, these kids, want to look up to, right? So I think what you have to do is kind of redirect that attention. So for instance, Kellen, again, another embarrassing moment, and not embarrassing because I got to be a father, like you said, Art. It's embarrassing because my 8-year-old son, there are things that he's privy to that he just shouldn't be privy to. And I can only attribute that to my co-parenting situation. You know what I'm saying? So having a child with a woman that I'm not with, it breeds into other things. So now you got to figure out the best way to handle that situation, right? So, Kellen been listening or has known of artists like Kodak Black or what's another one? Flip De Niro. These guys who he just shouldn't know about. He should be watching freaking like Sesame Street and Nickelodeon. He should be watching Yo Gabba Gabba, right? Not any of those things. But I have to, curtail all of that. So when he's with me, it's a heavy dose of stuff like, when he was with me for the last 6 months, Sesame Street, PBS Kids, no YouTube, none of that junk to kind of counteract it. Now, I won't say that it completely removes it from his mind, but with the examples that he's being given and the way that I tend to live my life. So like I listen to some of that stuff as well, but I try not to listen to it with them in present, or if it is, it's some like clean version and it's only a certain degree that I'll let, rap music play. Just so that there's a living, kind of example, kind of how my father was when he was in the household. So I think you have to provide more experiences outside of just the normal, what you see on television, the normal media and everything else, for them to see a difference.
There's
Because
two
I don't
things
think you're going to get rid of it.
two big things you said right there, right? And again, it's because of the lack of exposure in some cases, right? But what we say, but also what we do. Are we modeling, or maybe is it just do as I say, not as I do type thing, right? So if there's a situation where there may be Helens with you and Chris over the summer, we're in our houses with our wives and kids. If there's situations where, again, no household is perfect. And if there's a situation where there may be tempers flaring, there may be heated arguments going on, how you respond and how you treat people, and then how you reflect afterwards and how you come back to the situation is all modeling for him, and we're modeling for our kids of the proper way to do stuff. Yes, people will get mad, people will get upset, but separation, exercise, whatever the outlet is, and not an outlet where, unfortunately, some of the times when they see the outlet is, oh, I'm gonna go smoke, I'm gonna go drink, and then that brings in another factor into the thing. But how do you guys interact on a daily basis with each other, from sharing responsibilities, the talking to one another, to how you handle arguments, to the good times and the bad times. That's setting up the way of modeling for him what to do. One of the things that I've had to grasp is that, again, these are all lessons that we want our kids to learn, but at the end of the day, they're gonna grow older, they're gonna make their choices. We can set the best model this, but there's gonna be some situations where they're not gonna pick the right things, just like we didn't always pick the right things that our parents showed us, or role models in life showed us. The second thing that is really, I think I go back and forth with the argument about the media. I get it. I understand it. I've seen the influence of it over the years, but also is having a conversation to get what's the difference of reality and what's commercial, and having that understanding, like, yeah, this is the music. Dad can listen to this, that, but I'm drawing the line. I know this is just for commercial sake. This is just for party sake. This is not what they talk about. They're not living this life. They're not doing this stuff. And having the real conversation with kids as they grow older. Because my biggest thing was that if I outlaw it per se, they're gonna go, let's do it regardless, because everybody's talking about it. They're gonna find a YouTube. They're gonna find a YouTube. They're gonna find a thing when you're not at home watching on MTV, or I say MTV, BET, whatever the case may be nowadays. I don't know what everybody. Basically, YouTube give you any and everything that you want, and nobody even watching videos. These kids aren't even watching videos on like MTV.
I'm about to say MTV, BT, VH1. They don't even play videos. They play movies and ridiculousness.
They do stuff for all
else.
people our age who grew up with it, and now are move on the other stuff.
Seriously, like, but reruns of Martin.
But all these different things are coming. So it's having an understanding of what's reality and what's for sale, just to build a culture, right? And the culture is for sale, not your manhood, not your future, because you decide to lay hands on somebody, because you decide to react a certain way. But again, modeling that for our kids and how we interact. And is it always perfect? No. But it's being also real about when something does happen. Like, I was wrong when I said that, or I was wrong when I did that.
Yeah.
With our sons and daughters.
Yeah, I think that
being there, swallowing that pill and be able to do that.
It's key what you said, that ability to help them understand and define reality versus, what's on TV and what's just, entertainment. Because it's statistically shown, I don't know how many of you guys had the opportunity to check out that interview with the Facebook whistleblower, and it's ironic that Facebook had went down the other day. But essentially, one of the big things she pointed out was that Facebook knows and understands that the hate messages amplify drastically and are, ultimately a detriment to society. and that even the parameters and algorithms that they changed around election time, they took all of those things back out once the election was over and have went back to running as normal. But it in that report, it shows that, hate is amplified, that it is amplified at a larger level than, positive things. And so being able to like there's no point that is going to be able to counteract the fact that the entertainment industry is going to feed these negative pieces in there, because it is shown that they will make money from them. But again, it is our job to be able to help, our sons, our daughters, everyone have a better understanding definition of that line between reality and entertainment, because entertainment is still a very necessary thing, but it's definitely necessary to know and understand the levels of, yeah, a 6 7 year old doesn't need to be listening to Kodak Black. And it's not because Kodak Black doesn't necessarily say some profound things, but definitely the majority of his delivery is not in a package that a young child needs to be hearing or thinking is the way to represent themselves necessarily at that age. And so it's always about being able to help in that progressive state of being able to help that definition.
So, and I want to kind of get away from where we're at with the media, but the advantage that the media has over us is the wide availability, the reinforcement. Because if we could spend as much time talking to kids or teenagers as they listen to music and movies and how often that messages they hear are reinforced, oh, we'd be golden. We probably wouldn't have a lot of these problems. But I don't know that that's there. And then the second thing I want to do, I want to stop talking about it from the aspect of these younger folks, because I don't want us to ignore the fact that it's grown men displaying this behavior too. It's men older than us displaying this behavior. And it's got to stop. And it's not going to stop until, as individuals, we start taking that responsibility that when we see it or we know it, that we're going to say, hey, man, no more. We will not tolerate it anymore. And I don't care if it's at the family barbecue, the family reunion, the trip overseas, the guys trip, whatever it is, it just can't continue.
And that's the point. Like, everybody has to take a stand and know, like, whether it is their personality, whether it's alcohol in their system, whether it's bravado out in front of the group, like, we just have to check each other. But we got to go back to the same thing. I think you got to model for it. And also, again, you got to show that that's the right thing to do.
So, not to take away from your point, Curl, I think the reason that we end up back at the younger generation is because when you look at the older generation, I don't think we would have, I miss the guys trips like regularly, right? But if all 5 of us were on a trip, I don't think we would have any of these type of situations, right?
No, we wouldn't. Not at all.
99% of that is because none of us would let that happen because of the type of men we are. Unfortunately, people tend to surround themselves with individuals who confirm, their behaviors. So Fresh, you alluded to the Facebook interview. I didn't see that this morning, but I did see the interview that they did with that woman that wrote that book, I'll Take Questions Now, or something like that, about her time in the White House. She was Donald Trump's press secretary at some point. I can't remember.
Oh, yeah. I remember that story.
But the key from all of that is that she was surrounded, or in that mess, you know what I'm saying, and didn't decide to say anything until January 6th, and she fought herself back and forth. She said all these many times, 6 months or so, when she wanted to resign, but she kind of just sat in it. And I think, as grown men, one, you learn this behavior over a long period of time. It's just, unfortunately, it's a part of culture. And until we can get to the point where we stop teaching that, it's going to always exist. And once you're, 25, 35, 45 years or whatever, I mean, look at R. Kelly's situation. This man ran a brothel for his entire career. He sung about it on every album he ever made, and is just now being held accountable for all of those wrongdoings to all of those young women. So when you're surrounding yourself by, people that just continuously confirm your bias or confirm your situation, it's really hard, I guess, to, alleviate that from the older generation. And I think that's what it is. You got, even, people who end up in prison all the time, like they end up being like supreme products of the system, and they just continuously exhibit that behavior. So in order to really counteract it, I mean, you can try it from the top end, and that's why I brought it back to the conversation I had a long time ago. It's like once something is already lost, or out to sea, it's really hard, to rein it back in. And so if you're going to, try to curtail the problem, you got to start from the root, not necessarily the branch or the top of the tree.
But like Kay said, sometimes I bet if he get knocked out, he won't do it again.
I agree. Right.
And I'll be the first to say, sometimes it's the individual. It may be your frat brother that you all hanging out and do stuff. Like I remember after Crossing and going like Black Beach. I swore I would never go back there again. First of all, because all the females that we knew from UM that went, we were protecting them the whole time we were there. Like I believe anybody should be able to go wherever they want to go when they want to go. But we spent the whole weekend, once they found us and people saw us, like they didn't want to leave us because of the shenanigans that were going on. And some of them were our own frat brothers. Not people that I knew directly from being like on my campus or whatever, but from other places that came down and like, bro, chill.
Yeah, listen, we've all done that at multiple parties where we saw this. We're like, no, like, I don't care which chapter you're from or wherever you're from or who you are, just as a man, like, that's not going to happen, not in my presence. And that person knows that. And they know when you're around, oh, I can't do this in front of Art, or I can't do this in front of Kay. And it won't happen. But that doesn't mean when you're not around, it won't happen. But that's the truth. And it's you got to hold your ground. And it's just crazy.
Yeah, man. So, here on the 13th floor, we take a stand, against all of those types of behaviors, and definitely encourage our brothers and others that find themselves in those situations to step up and take that same stand, man. Protect our women. Protection of womanhood is very, very, very important. And I think we'll go ahead and leave that there. Art, you ready for your corner, sir?
Yeah, man, because let me tell you, I had something that I thought was going to be pretty cool, and I was going to make it all, Zaza Zoom for this, but this conversation, is very strong and heavy, and I don't want to lighten that from there. So I'll kind of go into the corner of it's our responsibility as men, no matter where you are if it's a job, if it's a club, if it's like Case at the barbecue, no matter where it is. We have to teach and allow others not to stand and do things that are not right. We got to stand there for our women, stand there for our daughters, stand there for our mothers, stand there for our aunts. I was just talking to someone, and it's like a tight mentor of mine, and shout out to Sue Teller. She listens to a podcast occasionally, but she told me as a woman, she worked in the kitchen full of all men. She's the only woman there working in a kitchen, and kitchens can be very, very rough as far as the conversation of how things work, and just the male ego in the kitchen is just insane. So if anyone that listens to this understands that, but to have the dominance to say, you're not going to speak to me in this way, or challenge them to say, would you speak or talk or touch your mother this way, your sister? How would that feel to you? Those words change the conversation completely, and it changes the mentality and thought behind them. So don't let it happen in front of you, no matter what it is. stand up for what's right, do what's right, and be the example of how to make sure it doesn't happen around you. And I think that's where I'll leave the corner.
There it is. There it is. Man, Fresh, why you let me forget to start off with you today, man?
Because we kind of swapped on topics, but I can always give sauce as needed.
There it is, man. Sauce us up real quick. We got the Fresh Ovation coming to you right now.
Boom! It's preservation time, ladies and gentlemen. So this week, I wanted to, I always continue my voyage on balance and bringing neutrality to my life. And as much as I appreciated and enjoyed this weekend, I was able to not allow the excitement of this weekend put me in a state where I was not able to, over being over anxious and not able to get there, do what I needed to do, but then also take the time to just enjoy what was going on there. With that said, I got an amazing quote from none other than the great Oprah Winfrey. She says, "I've learned that you can't have everything and do everything at the same time." So you can't be so focused on, wanting to accomplish and wanting to get and have money and all of these other things and not take the time to enjoy what you're doing and take the time to, be present in what's going on and the things that are happening in your life. So I encourage all to make sure that even though you are on your path, you make sure to have balance and neutrality in your life. And that is preservation that has just been juiced all on your forehead. Enjoy that. Holla.
Ladies and gentlemen, remember you want to subscribe to the YouTube channel at 13th Floor, please. I want you to hit us on Instagram, Facebook. They're back up now. So you can follow us on all our social media pages. Catch this podcast on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, wherever you're listening to your podcast each and every week. Shoot us a like, give us a rating, comments, all welcome. And with that, Coach K, I'm coming to you to take us home.
This one, woo, we started out in a light place on this episode and we ended up in a heavy place. And, I've been sitting here thinking the whole time of, where do we go? How do I close this out? And the more I think about it, there is a movement that has been going on long before Black Lives Matter, long before Me Too. And I think it's probably the most dangerous movement that's going on out there. And because of the way things have developed in society, people have a lot of access. People, look, there are people that are wealthier than they've ever been before, people that are able to put themselves and their families in good positions. But what that has created and manifested is the Not Me movement. And what does that mean? That means that all these unfortunate things that happen to people that you see on the news and TV, a lot of people think they're immune to it. It's not me. And therefore, there's no action taken. Well, the Not Me movement ends really quickly when it ends up on your doorstep when you least expect it. The Not Me movement makes you vulnerable to the things that are going on because you don't look for it. You don't protect yourself, from it. You don't raise your kids in a way that where it won't affect them in their day-to-day life, or it won't affect them when they grow up. So that Not Me movement, while you're in a position of privilege, and look, I'm not just talking about white folks at this point, I'm talking about everybody. We all participate at some point in the Not Me movement. What will you do? Even though it's not you, how do you now use your position to make sure that it's not somebody else too? That's the responsibility now. How do you make sure it's not somebody else? How do you make sure that it's not one more female that this happens to tomorrow, or one more person that goes missing? What do you do about it? How do you organize? How do you go talk to the people that are also in that not me bucket and say, hey, you know what? every Friday evening or twice a week, we're just gonna walk the neighborhood and go make sure that there's nothing funny going on, make sure that our presence is seen. We need to get back to being a village. And the part about being a village is that your neighbor's problem was your problems. Somebody on the far extent of on the far end of the neighborhood, their problem was your problem, and everybody dealt with it together. Didn't matter if you could pay us back. It didn't matter if you could do a favor for us. It didn't matter. We were going to contribute. We were going to invest in you. And if the day ever came where you could, hey, hopefully you'll return it. But I think we need to get away from this not me movement, and we need to make sure that it's not somebody else. And the sooner we take action, the less we'll have to have these conversations, or the sooner that we'll get to the next thing, because there will be something else. But we got to start somewhere. And it's up to you. You know, what do you do after you stop listening to this? If you are listening to it and you know that there's somebody else that needs to hear it, some of these very folks that we're talking about, the action that they take and the way that they look at women and the way they look at people. Oh, this is the episode you want to tag them in. Hey, you should listen to this podcast. And when they say, oh, what you made me listen to that for? Oh, you know, it's a good podcast. These guys are pretty good. You should listen. You never know what will be the thing that will spark that change in somebody. That's all I got. I'm done.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. We're done here on the 13th floor where the furniture isn't always the best, but the views are amazing.
Ace.
It's the 13th floor, y'all.